Daf Yomi, Tractate Chullin, page 14. Top of the page, and we're starting with the new Mishnah. Please excuse my voice, I'm a little congested. But thank God it's been better. Yesterday, I struggled through it, and I don't know how the sound quality was, but hopefully today it'll be better. Tractate Chullin, page 14. Excuse me. Top of the page. Reminds me of there was this movie with I forgot where it was. It was with Philip Seymour Hoffman. They're maybe I heard this from somebody or whatever. They're in a board meeting. They're in a conference room or something. He starts clearing his throat. He's in for like 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes, but like an exceedingly long time. I forgot what movie that is. But anyway, it reminded me of that. Actually, I heard a bunch of people clearing their throats today. Okay. Mishnah. Mashoket b'Shabbos. U'b'Yom HaKippurim. Afagav d'Mischayev b'Nafsho Yishchitas d'Kashera. In the case of one who slaughters an animal on Shabbat or Yom Kippur, although he's liable to receive the death penalty, his slaughter is valid. Interesting. Okay, relatively straightforward Mishnah, simple Mishnah. Now the Gemara, Talmud. Zog the Hilik Talmud. Amar Rav Huna, Dorash Rav Chia bar Rav, Shmein Rav, Asura b'Achila Liyoma, Benazbin Chaveraya Lemema Rav Yehudahi. Rav Yehuda says that Rav Chia bar Rav taught in the name of Rav, one who slaughtered an animal on Shabbat and Yom Kippur, although the slaughter is valid, consumption of the animal is prohibited for that day. And the members of the company of the sages, those in the academy, tended to say that this is the halacha, is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Okay. Hi, Rabbi Yehuda. Amar Rabbi Abba, Rabbi Yehuda, Dehachano he. It's non. Michatchin es hadiluin לפני הבהמה והסנבלה לפני הכלובים. רב יהודה אומר, אם לא הייתה נבלה בערב שבת, אסורה, לפי שאינו מן המוכן. עלמא All right, the movie is called Along Came Polly. I checked it out. All right. Anyway, rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman, wherever you are. We have a daf to do here. So maybe we should do this daf in honor of Philip Seymour Hoffman. I think it was a Yid. He was a Yid Taka, no? No, Hoffman sounds like it. Maybe just German. I don't know. Whatever. But, alright, let's continue here. Where were we? Zog de heilige Gemorre! Amar Huna mit da Ashtochiona. Where were we? Ahai Rabbi Yehuda. Amar Rabbi Abba. Amar Rabbi Abba, Rabbi Yehuda. De Achonin Ditzman Mechatchin Es Adiluin. Lifnei Behema. Was in the Vela Lifnei Aklovim. Rabbi Yehuda Oimel. Im lo haisa nevela me'erev Shabbos asura. Lefi she'ena min hamuchan alma kevan delo itchan me'etmol asura hochanami kevan delo itchan me'etmol asura. The Gemara asks, which opinion of Rabbi Yehuda? Rabbi Abba said it is the opinion of Yehuda with regard to preparation for Shabbat. As we learned in the Mishnah, in Shabbat, this week is the National Shabbat. According to Donald Trump, the ganze Oilem is celebrating Shabbat. I feel the Goyim and zusammen mit the Yidden are celebrating Shabbat in honor of the Messiah. In Mishnah Shabbat 156, one may cut the gourds before an animal on Shabbat, provided that they were picked prior to Shabbat. And likewise, one may cut an animal carcass to place before the dogs on Shabbat. Rabbi Yehuda says, if it was not already a carcass prior to Shabbat, it is prohibited to cut it or even move it on Shabbat because it is not prepared for use on Shabbat. Apparently, since it was not prepared from yesterday, it is prohibited. Here too, in the Mishnah, where an animal was slaughtered on Shabbat or Yom Kippur, since it was not prepared from yesterday, it is prohibited. Amar le Abaye, mi dami, am I a dummy? No, I'm not a dummy. Mi dami, are they comparable? Hasamikar mumchen adam, v'ashtu mumchen leklavim, hachamikar mumchen adam, hashta bagalav zmakariv no marameh, hashtu mumchen adam, mi savres behema bechayea, achila medes behema bechayea legadol. Amedes, Abaya said to Rabba, are the cases comparable? There, in the Mishnah and Tractate Shabbat, initially, the animal is prepared for use by a person as it was prepared for slaughter, and now that it died without slaughter on Shabbat, it is prepared for dogs. Do not throw what is holy to the dogs. Okay, but in the Mishnah here, initially the animal was prepared for use by a person, and now, after it was slaughtered, it remains prepared for use by a person. Rabbi Abba rejects that distinction. Do you hold that an animal during its lifetime is designated for consumption and therefore is prepared for use by a person? On the contrary, an animal during its lifetime is designated for breeding. Ihachi behem Rabbi Yehuda b'yom tov hechi shachtinan amarlo omedes lachila oimedes legadel nishchata hu v'rara de la achila oimedes lo nishchata chura de legadel oimedes. Abaye said, if that is so, that the animal is not designated for consumption according to Rabbi Yehuda, how do we slaughter an animal on a festival? If Rabbi Abba said to Abaye, during its lifetime, the animal is designated for consumption and designated for breeding. If it was slaughtered, it is retroactively clarified that it was designated for consumption. If it was not slaughtered, it is retroactively clarified that it was designated for breeding. The Hales lan Rabbi Yehuda, Hales Rabbi Yehuda Breira 417. That was, yes, Rabbi Yehuda Breira Minalan. But isn't it so Rabbi Yehuda does not accept? But isn't it so that Rabbi Yehuda does not accept the principle of retroactive designation? From where do we derive that this is Rabbi Yehuda's opinion? And if we say that we learn it from that which is taught in the following Braita, there is no proof. Halokeach yayin mi beina kusim oimer shnei lugin shani osi lifaresh harein druma hasola maaser rishon tisha maaser sheni umechal b'shoyte miyad divrei Rabbi Meir Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Shimon Oislein. It is taught in a Braita to Sefta Demai 8:7 in the case of one who purchases wine from among the Samaritans just before Shabbat, and presumably Truma and tithes were not separated. He acts as follows. If there are 100 log of wine in the barrels, he says, 2 log that I will separate in the future are Truma, as the mandated average measure of Truma is 1/50th. 10 log are first tithe, and a tenth of the remainder, which is 9 log, are second tithe. And he deconsecrates the second tithe, that he will separate in the future, transferring its sanctity to money. And he may drink the wine immediately, relying on the separation that he will perform later, which will clarify retroactively which log he designated for the tithes and for the truma. This is the statement of Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Shimon prohibit this practice. Apparently, Rabbi Yehuda does not accept the principle of retroactive designation. All right, we'll stop here. Continue with the next Amud.